What ages are you capturing? 18 and above?
We are capturing every age.
So it doesn't matter if the person is a child?
It doesn't matter.
Entire families can come?
Yes.
Are you then working with the National Population Commission?
Well, yes. Until recently, we had issues. What we were doing with the National Population Commission was to see how we can collaborate at the level of the vital registration activities, because it's their primary responsibility to provide the infrastructure for registration of births and deaths. And as you probably are aware of, the local government institutions are also involved in this exercise. So what we planned to do, and we had a committee working, was to see how we can then plug into what they have. If we must automate it for our purposes, then we help to automate it. And we got the donor agencies working with us at some point. They were working with them, and we were part of it. And then for some reasons, that is not working out. But I think on Thursday or Friday, there was a meeting to try and revive that. So we are hoping that we can work together, achieve full coverage by so doing. So if you, for instance, hypothetically speaking, if you are able to cover all of birth registration locations in Nigeria, over the next X number of years, you discover that if you have introduced a unique or a secure paper for issuing birth certificates, any introduction, any claim to declaration of age and stuff like that can then be properly viewed as something that is trying to undermine the system.
If you've established the fact that it's not right now you're not necessarily focused on the cards.
We are focused on the cards.
No, from what you've said so far is as though you're just gathering your data first.
Okay, let's
do the registration first.
Let me put it this way. The National Identity Management System has at least 5 components.
So where are you now?
We are working on all of them simultaneously. We have established registration centers in all the states, and so we've started. We have the back end.
Okay, if I may come in here, because there are people who have registered sometime last year, they've not received their cards yet.
Yes.
But where I'm going to is, the cards, the registrations that were done in the previous identity card scheme, what happens to them? Our last guest talked about the fact that that database has left this country. So what's the guarantee that this one now will not leave? And how secure is this?
Okay. You just hear me out. I had that bit of his comments. The National Identity Management System has 5 components. The first one, which is very key because garbage in, garbage out in computer parlance, is the enrollment centers. We have 42 enrollment centers running as we speak. Okay? We need to take this down to meet the people. We also have semi-mobile and mobile enrollment systems. Secondly, we have the National Identification Number subsystem. In that subsystem, you have 3 other parts. The one that does contain the database itself, the one that does the deduplication that confirms a single version of truth, and then the one that is used to create the authentication and verification infrastructure. Then you have the identity harmonization processes, then the service, the card. Just for avoidance of doubt, it is not that we do not have, we're working on the card. The card is a 10-year.
Because some people have registered since last
year. Yeah, but we have not given them the card. This is the card. This card cannot be found anywhere on the shelf. Chip. That's the chip, yes. It cannot be found anywhere in the world on the shelf. That is because, and that's a global trend, you must build you must build an EID, an identity scheme that is foolproof, okay, in terms of security. It's like creating your currency and allow your currency to be subject to all kinds of attack.
Does this now invalidate the national ID card that we all
Once you get
have?
this, you do away with that. Once you get this, you do away with that.
It's unnecessary that it carries a picture because there's no picture
No,
on it.
this is the card. It's currently being tested for durability because it's a 10-year card. This is how it looks like
But when it finally comes
when
out.
it is personalized.
Okay, perhaps I would
And
see.
if you check that, you will see some shade behind the passport there,
Okay.
and you see that there is none here. And these are parts of the processes that we are going through.
What's the difference? Shade behind this, the passport, and this one, nothing here for this other one.
Now, to the undiscerning mind, you say that's an error. To the discerning mind, you say that's a security feature. And if you feel that part of it, you see there's something that tells the blind person that this is a card. Okay?
Okay.
You can feel it. And that chip that you see is an 80 kilobyte chip. It's not, I mean, we all have ATM cards, but that's the simplest form. Now, to get this card, put 13 applications in the card, be able to test how the various agencies whose functions have been provided for in the card as part of the harmonization and integration process. Remember I told you there is a connectivity infrastructure. There is a rule which harmonizes the kind of data you collect.
Mr. Onyemenam, we really don't have time. Perhaps we'll be having someone again from NIMC to come. But how do we go about getting all of this, and how soon can those who have already registered can get theirs?
As soon as we currently hope that on Thursday there will be a formal launch of the enrollments, and then we'll push gradually to ensure that by December all the local governments have enrollment centers so we can populate the database.
Is this supposed to be able to double as an ATM card, or
Yes.
you can collect money with it?
Yes. Now, what we are planning, hopefully the tests for durability, 10-year durability, the results will come in November 17th. Thereafter, we will plan an awareness campaign to explain the cards, and hopefully before the end of the first quarter,
when you go to the registration center,
we'll introduce the cards.
What do you have to come with?
Preferably any primary source document that you have. Otherwise, you walk in and you will be enrolled.
So here I am, and registration starts.
Yeah, I mean, you are very well known. So I'm sure when my officers at the enrollment center see you, they say, "Oh, okay, we know this man. He's a Nigerian." And
For instance, my cameraman behind the cameras, you don't get to see him. How would they recognize that?
They have been taught. That's what I'm saying. They have been. All the enrollment officers have gone through a 2 weeks program, and it's a continuous process. In the state offices, it's not so much of a problem because they are people who are experienced, and it's not likely that somebody will come in from Niger and come to a Lagos enrollment center. It's likely to go to the closest.
Does this support multiple registration?
This system confirms, guarantees a single version of truth. So what it means is that you cannot enroll twice. If you go to our Lagos office and enroll, and for some reason, because we have a good understanding, we have an enrollment center here, and you say, well, I can also enroll here, it will flag it down. And if you try it a second time, we'll report to the security agencies, because you are trying to undermine our system, and there must be a reason.
Would you have centers in hospitals?
We haven't thought of that yet. But the idea is to create as many centers as possible to enable citizens quickly walk up to these enrollment centers and enroll. We have to encourage them by making them appreciate the importance and benefits of participating.
You didn't answer the question I asked earlier.
Which
about
one?
The security of the data. The old data, it's been said that it's left the country. Will this one stay in country, or will it also leave the country?
This system is being managed by Nigerians. The database is in Nigeria, and we don't have enough time. I would have really explained a lot of things.
Because really we're out of time.
Because this card has a public key. You know, we don't have a national public key infrastructure, but this card is supported by a public key infrastructure.
Well,
and we had to build that.
We would like to thank you very much for coming. We're so out of time. He's the Director General, National Identity Management Commission, speaking on the national identity question. Well, perhaps, a lot of questions will still come in, and we'll hope to push some of them to your office. And, of course, if the need arises, we'll have you back here on the program.